Welcome back to Bailey Built, and in this episode I'm going to make the spark plug wires and change the distributor. So right now what I've done is I've gone ahead and I found my top dead center. Once I got my top dead center, I made a mark on the harmonic balancer. I'll show you that in a second. And then I've gone ahead and swapped the valve covers. I've put the spark plugs back in, and then I've just gone ahead and attached the wires. So now we can move on to the next step. But real quick, I'll just show you. Right here, I was able to find top dead center with the valve cover off. And then down in here, I've gone ahead and marked a line. So now I feel comfortable with removing this and putting on the new distributor. I definitely want to start getting the spark plug wires all lined up. Now the spark plug wires are made by a company by Scott's Performance. This is the clamp we're going to be running. They got it in a 2-hole, a 3-hole, and then this 4-hole. And what this is going to do is it's going to bolt on to the side of the valve cover, and I'm going to be able to run my wires all nice and clean and keep away from those headers. Okay, I'm running into a problem here with these spark plug wire clamps that I picked up from the manufacturer of the spark plug wires. It appears, I guess, these holes are actually for your standard 8mm spark plug wires, but you know, I've got 10mm. This is supposed to be set up for 10mm. It's just not happening. So what's going on is this little clamshell, as it tries to close around the spark plug wires, the spark plug wire is just too thick and it won't actually make contact like it is right now. Then the next problem is, since I can't get it to collapse completely, right? What they've done is they've set it up where this clamp mounts to the valve cover, and then this piece right here, you have your nut that slides into here, and when it does that, then you tighten this all up and it's locked into the valve cover with this bracket. Problem is the spark plug wires are basically that big, and I'm not getting, there's not enough threads on this bolt to actually get it to slide down into this channel in here. I went ahead and I just started putting the first set on, and as you can see, I got these pretty tight, and you can see they're not closing. Look, they're not closing. They're not closing. I'm just totally smashing the wire, right? It's just not a fit. It's just not a good fit. I think what the plan will be is that I'll just reach out to Scott's Performance on Monday and see what I can do to resolve the issue. I did reach out to Scott's Performance wires, and they're telling me that this is pretty much, this is it. And maybe I might have to modify this kit to make it work in my application. And then for these wire clamps, obviously I'm going to have to get longer screws, because as this doesn't collapse and close, the screws, you know, really tight. Look how many threads are left. So if this is open, there's barely any threads to bite down. So I'm going to have to get longer screws all the way around. The other version would be to drill these out. And if we look right here, if I start to drill this out, I'm going to lose a lot of clamping around each one of these holes. And I'm really concerned that, you know, with this wire being so large, you can see that drilling these out doesn't look like it's an option. I think the result here is I'm going to actually return this kit, and we're going to go back to this option right here. This material right here is a lot stronger and a lot harder than these. It has a little bit more surface area, and since it's made from a more dense material, I feel more comfortable drilling this out to fit the 10mm wires than I would drilling this guy out. I also need to terminate all the spark plug wires. What we have here is in the kit, it came with 8 spark plug wires terminated on one side, and then you cut and fit the second side at the distributor. So all the wires are currently on the truck, so we'll do the wire management first, and then we come through and make all the other ends. The best way to terminate these spark plug wires, as far as I can tell, is using a proper crimp tool. Next step is, I think what I'm going to do is just take out all these bolts, put this in my vise, clamp this down so it just stays rigid, and I'll just run a drill bit through all these holes, increasing in size every time, and hopefully get to the right size for this spark plug wire. Wow. This should be easy, but man, it's taking forever. I've taken my digital calipers and I've measured the spark plug wire, and pretty much it's this drill bit right here. 15-30 seconds is what we need to drill out to fit this. But if I want it a little bit tighter, we're gonna work our way up to 29/64. Okay, I've got to a stopping point right now, so let me show you where I'm at. Okay, so far I've gone ahead and drilled out each one of these wire separator clamps. When I drilled them out, you could see right here, it's the right size hole. This is not tight, but when it does tighten up, we're not pinching the wire. There is just enough to bite this down where it won't slide in or out. So this will hold it tight, it won't pinch the wire, and it looks like we have a success here. This is what this side looks like. And you know what? That looks pretty clean. You know, I really can't complain. Once I tighten all these up, everything will look nice and straight. Run it back here to the back of the distributor. Basically, the next step is to go ahead and mark all of the spark plug wires exactly where I want to terminate them, and basically make them all up. It took a little bit of figuring out to get somewhat of a system together so it all goes back together, and here's where we're at. I basically had the whole set of plugs in the wire separators. Then I carefully ran them up to here. I wrote my firing order down, and just one by one I started taping the wires to the boot, right? So this kind of lets me know exactly what orientation I want to terminate this, right? So like for instance on this wire right here, when I terminate it, I want the little socket that snaps on to be open end or facing downwards, right? So it snaps on this way. I don't want to terminate the spark plug where it wants to plug in going this way or up, right? So I use some black electrical tape to go ahead and tape these wires, and it kind of lets me know exactly where the top dead center is of each one of these posts for the spark plug and what orientation to do that. Okay, here we are. I got one side done. As you can see, I still need to tighten up these clamps right here, and I've gone ahead and terminated that side, ran the spark plug wires up the back of the valve covers, and here we are. This is kind of what the first half is looking like. So so far I'm liking it. Everything turned out well. I like how the heat shrink has the numbers on it, so I'm going to show you how I got that done. So this is what worked best for me. I'm going to start at this this 4-hole clamp right here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to carefully take off the nuts on the back. I just pull this guy off, okay? What I do is I just mark a center line. Okay, so all those marks are going to represent exactly where each one of these spark plug wires is going to go back in. We got our little diagram right here, and that's going to represent the plug that plugs into the distributor, and then this is going to represent this black insulation right here, and this section is the green silicone insulation. The next step is I just kind of look dead center at the back of the boot right here, so we'll call that 12 o'clock. How's that? This is pointing at 6. I'm at 12 o'clock, and right now I'm just going to make a mark right there, and that's the orientation of where I want the boot to sit, going that way. I'm gonna take this right here, and we're gonna make a mark right here where the bottom of this boot is gonna sit. This is lined up with the circle here, and then right here is where I need to cut it. Okay, let's take off the electrical tape. The best way to cut this is really with a set of cutters like this. Take a sharp razor blade, I think, and I just get on this line, okay? Just kind of saw into it. Now, the next layer is gonna be like this woven fabric layer, and you'll kind of know when you're cutting into it because it just doesn't feel like you're cutting into this silicone anymore. I'll cut a line down the center, and I can just kind of peel this off. Best way to cut this stuff is with a super sharp pair of scissors. One that cuts really nice at the tip, as you can see I'm doing right here. Once I got that rough cut, if I just fold this over a little bit, kind of grab some of that, cut it, rotate it, fold it down, just get up in here, bam. We're just gonna clean this up. I'm gonna put this number 2 towards the spark plug wire boot. I'm gonna put this one towards the distributor boot, right? So see, the number 2 is toward the distributor. This number 2 is towards the spark plug. Mark what side goes to the spark plug so I don't get it confused once I'm done with all this, which way it went. We're gonna set this back up on my little diagram, setting this green outer jacket right on that line, and I'm gonna mark right here exactly where I need to strip this black insulation. The best way to strip that is on the tip of these cutters right here. There's a cutting tool, and you can see that hole there is actually pretty big. So I like that because I know I'm not gonna cut, mar, or nick the conductor. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut it, leave it right there, rotate it 90 degrees, and do it one more time. All I gotta do is just kind of fold him over and finish breaking that last little section, pull and twist. Pull and twist. It comes right off. Let me tell you, that's clean. This conductor is going to fold back, pointing at this mark right here. We're going to mark here. We're going to fold the conductor back, okay? I'm going to hold the conductor nice and straight, and with the connector facing at 6 o'clock, in the back of it at this 12 o'clock, I'll slide the connector on. Black insulation is just sitting up. Man, I want to say a 1/16, no more than an 1/8 of an inch. Now this tool is by Excel. I ordered this through Summit Racing. I think this tool was something like 80 bucks. And let me tell you, worth every penny. I think I got it now. Right there. That's it. That's it. Bam, look at that. This is where the wire is going to come in. This is where the distributor is going to plug in. So with the distributor hole facing up, I just take this silicone lubricant and one spritz. And then with the Kung Fu grip, we're going to slide this up in there. And it'll go up in there. You just got to get it started. And you got to get it past that black insulation, which I found using a little pick tool just to help get it over. And then push it in, a small flathead, put it down in there in the connector, and then massage the boot down, massaging the connector up and seating it into the boot. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's in there. Take our shrink tube, we're going to place it all the way at the neck and then back it down a 1/16 or so. That's one side. Flip it around. We had this black tape here that represented the spark plug side, which is over here. You can see black tape still I left on that one. Just to remind us, okay, we find this mark right here, and we set the mark dead center in the 4-port clamp. And now all of our spark plug boots at the distributor, okay, are now all clocked. We're gonna line up all of our marks, dead center. That looks good, and this is kind of what we had planned, right? I'm gonna hold this down, just kind of turn it up. Washer, lock nut. Then we're gonna do the three port right here. Again, we're only finger tightening and starting all the hardware. I'll just keep going. Here we go. This one's next. Okay, now we can take off any last bit of electrical tape that represented the spark plug side, and we can put on the boots and go install this on the motor. I want to show you what I'm dealing with. This right here is the Scotts Performance wire separator. The 3/8 fits nicely. So this is going to be a 3/8 hole, which obviously doesn't fit the spark plug wires. But even on this kit right here, so this guy is a 13/32. So this kit alone is already a larger size than the Scotts Performance. I'm starting to think that they just sent me the wrong kit, but they're holding to it. We're gonna have to call them.